Strap yourself in because we're set up, switched on, and ready to go.
This is
the Humane Roundup podcast.
And now, here's your host.
Welcome to the Humane Roundup, the show that takes you into the demanding yet rewarding lives of animal control, animal service, and humane officers, as well as a behind-the-scenes look at animal shelters. I am Officer Hildy, and everyone except for Ocho is here with us this week. What's going on, guys?
Yo.
Yeah.
That's all we got. I think it's important to say, though, we are recording on Sunday, the day of the loss of Kobe Bryant and his daughter and the other people inside the helicopter. So maybe some of us are a little more somber than normal.
That's crazy. It kind of hit me kind of like when Paul Walker passed away.
Yeah.
It was kind of like not real. You didn't want to believe it. You're like, no, not Paul Walker. Like, no. You know, and then Kobe Bryant, like, no, get away. I don't want to hear this.
The only difference with that, though, is the way Paul Walker died. It was just incredibly ironic, just given what brought him to fame, you know?
Yeah.
Kobe Bryant didn't get pelted by a basketball or something like that, but yeah, it's still tragic all the same.
Yeah, I mean, it's similar, though. He was flying his daughter to a traveling basketball tournament. Yeah, it's too bad. That's too bad. Death is we should do a whole episode on death. It's something that I think, it's the biggest mystery of our consciousness at this point. And I know I'm in Colorado and I can get really deep on stuff like this, but the reality is, like, what is it and why are we affected by it the way that we are? So,
well, while we're talking about that too, everyone keep Ocho in your thoughts as well. His dad's got some medical issues going on, so
we love you, Och.
Just put his personal info out there for the world to listen to. Good job, Hildy.
Well, I'm just saying, we all love him. So, we also have Officer Sorensen with us from Long Beach Animal Care Services, and we are going to be chatting with her here in a little bit. So, hello, Officer Sorensen, Eddie, whatever you want us to call you.
Hi guys.
Hi.
Hello.
What it is?
You guys can call me Eddie. That's okay.
So I have a real question for you.
Yeah.
So you working at Long Beach?
Yes.
Do you know who the dog pound is?
The dog pound, like Snoop Dogg or the
DPG, baby?
What it is?
You don't know who the dog pound is?
DPG.
Of course. I mean, yeah,
All right,
I wasn't sure if you were talking about the shelter.
No, LBC,
like,
man, DPG.
Are we calling it the dog pound? Yes, of course. I'm from Long Beach.
Word.
Yes, I grew up in Long Beach, so yes, of course.
Have you met Snoop Dogg yet?
I have not. He's done a lot of things around here, and I've just never gone. I'm not a big crowd person, so I don't go. But he graduated from Poly High School, which, I mean, I grew up around Poly, but I didn't go there.
You mean, wait, Snoop Dogg graduated high school?
I don't know if he graduated, but he went there.
My man.
Do you even go here? That's funny. All right. Well, thanks for being here with us today. We will chat with you soon. In the meantime, I think we've got a Do You Know Him with Officer Paw Patrol.
Do you know him? All right, guys. So welcome back to another episode of Do You Know Him? Today we're going to be talking to the one, the only, and I know most of you guys know him because he's a very famous YouTuber, and it's our pleasure to have him here on the podcast. We got Officer Paw Patrol, as I call him, OPP, but I have him down on my contacts as Kyle. So what's up, man? How you been?
What is up?
Hey, so man, you've been having a lot of success with your YouTube channel, but before we get into all that and we talk about all your success and all the good stuff you're doing in this community, let's get to know you a little better. Let's dive in and talk to you about how did you get started in this industry, man?
I needed a job. That was pretty much it. No, I'm just kidding. Well, and we've kind of touched on this before on the show. But when I graduated high school, I went to college, and I knew that I wanted to study criminal justice. That was what intrigued me to study, but I didn't necessarily know what I wanted to do. And then while I was going through college, something else that was kind of intriguing me a little bit was like the animal science field, veterinary medicine. And I was really, really torn. I go, which one do I want to do and which one do I want to pursue? Because that's a big decision, right? You're deciding what you're going to do. I don't want to say for the rest of your life, but at least for the foreseeable future. And I was fortunate enough to come across animal control as a profession. And I really, what on earth was that?
Sorry. That was me. Sorry.
Did you get a call out? What are you doing? You got to go?
No, I was trying to turn the light back on.
I was trying so hard to ignore it too, and I just couldn't.
She just walked out of the chat room like,
she's like, sorry. This is boring. We're done. I don't care about Kyle that much.
No.
We probably got to start that all over, don't we?
Joe is dying right now.
Joe,
let's just start this entire segment over. How about that?
Let's go. I don't know why that was funny, bro, but it was like just a random door. All right,
sorry,
let's go. Let's roll it.
This is why we don't record live. We're good.
All right, let's go. You ready?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, guys. So welcome back to another segment of Do You Know?
He can't.
I don't know why it was so funny. All right,
hey, you thought yours was going bad.
Save the best for last, baby. Well, actually, someone's got to interview Joe the ACO next week.
I'm calling that right now. That's me.
I want to. We gotta all get in there.
Y'all gotta fuck it up. All right, here we go. Ready? Welcome back to another segment, guys. Was Do You Know? So today we're gonna be talking to Officer OPP, Officer Paw Patrol, my buddy Kyle. So if you guys know him, he's really successful in YouTube. He does a lot of stuff on social media. He sells these great shirts as well. He started the hashtag. Don't make me laugh. Bro, I need to stop. Hold on.
Joe is
This is
high.
the best interview I've ever been a part of.
Joe is drunk or high.
I'm not, dude. I'm actually hungry. All right. Here we go. Okay, here we go, dude. All right, let's go. All right, guys. Bird, dude. Someone put a blanket on that bird. Oh, man. Here we go. All right, guys. Welcome back to another segment with Do You Know Him? Today we're going to be talking to my buddy Kyle. You guys know him as Officer OPP, Officer Paw Patrol. We're going to get to talk to him, get to know him a little better, and get more personal with him on another level. Even though I already have, this is for you guys to listen. So he's here with me today. What's up, bro?
Say what's up, man?
There you go.
Appreciate you interviewing me.
Hey, no worries, man. Before we started, I was dying out of laughter for something very silly. Not even that funny, but for some reason it was funny. Anyway, so let's dive in. As you guys know, Kyle is from Michigan. He always says it on the show, like, here in Michigan. So
I'm proud to be a Michigander, man.
Were you born and raised in Michigan?
Born and raised. Yep.
Really?
I've actually only been to a few other states other than Michigan, believe it or not.
Right. Really?
Yep.
You're kind of like me. I've been in California all my life. So
yeah, I grew up in East Lansing, Michigan. It's like just east of the capital in Lansing. So go Spartans, home of the Michigan State Spartans.
Now, did you grow up like in the ghetto, in the hood, or were you like nice little area you grew up in? Like, how was it growing up in Michigan?
Middle class suburbs, man.
Middle class?
Middle class suburbs. Kind of like your typical cookie cutter neighborhoods where, got good families, good kids running around the neighborhood, riding your bikes up and down the street. I had a good childhood, and I think that kind of set me up for success down the road. Daniel last week was kind of talking about how he had a different type of upbringing. And it's kind of interesting how two completely different upbringings can lead us to the same path and the same goals in life.
And I thought white privilege existed, man.
No, that might exist, but we just made wrong choices. That's all.
Now, check this out. Before I ever met you, the lieutenant in my department was bringing up your videos to the chief, and he was like, "You gotta check this guy out. He's making videos on YouTube, and you were pretty much reenacting all the BS that would go through in the field, like when we're trying to take our lunch, and then some random person comes up to us trying to talk to us about their dog, realizing that we're in our lunch trying to eat, but they're still talking, right?" That was like the first video that I saw, but he kept like bringing this stuff to my boss, and we used to watch him in our briefings. And we're like, "Who is this guy? This guy just randomly making videos." So that was when you started making videos. But what made you start doing this? Like, what just said like, "Hey, I'm just gonna make animal control videos, see what happens"?
Right around that time, and you got to go back. This was about 2 years ago, 2 years in the making. I know recently I've had a lot of success on my channel, but me and you have had conversations about it. It takes a long time to become an overnight success, and I stand by that. But 2 years ago, when nobody was watching my videos, no one except your department knew who I was pretty much. That was like right around the time of the Black Lives Matter movement, all of the anti-police protests, all of these things going on that was painting law enforcement in general in a negative light. There were other people coming to social media as police officers trying to change the image a little bit, but animal control didn't have anyone. And I was thinking to myself, we kind of fall into that spectrum. We have our own unique set of, problems and adversities that we go through. And there's a lot of times we always say that we fight for the voiceless, right? But while we're fighting for the voiceless, it's very easy for us to lose our voice. So my entire goal was to be the voice for everybody, to bring awareness to the problems that we deal with on a day-to-day basis, even if it's something as mundane as not being able to eat a lunch and be interrupted by somebody. If I could make your department laugh in briefing before you go start your shift, man, that dude hit it right on the head. That happens to me all the fucking time. That's what I was trying to do with my channel, and that's still what I'm trying to do.
Now, did you ever think that one day you were going to be as many subscribers as you have now? I mean, 'cause it was crazy because when you started here, you had, do you recall how many subscribers you had on your channel when you started the podcast?
When we started the podcast, I had like 2,000. So in the YouTube world, not many. I was really proud to have those 2,000 subscribers though, because they were loyal. They watched my videos every single week. Now I think at least at the time of recording this interview, I'm at 62,000 subscribers. So it's grown exponentially. I don't want to say that I've become successful doing it, because if I say I've become successful, then I'm going to become stagnant. So I want to try and reach 100,000. Then once I reach 100,000, I want to be, reach 200,000. That's my goal. I'm never going to be satisfied until every single person in this country and beyond understands what animal control officers go through. That's the whole point of my channel.
You know what I think? When you had those 2,000 subscribers, I think that was most of the people in this industry that followed you. But then once you made that video, I think you made that crossover now to where you're like being followed by people that are big in the animal, welfare, or just animal period, just people that are in this industry because they love animals. So you kind of cross that bridge where you're kind of I'll say like a bigger deal now, because people really want to hear what you got to say as an animal control officer. So that is like a game changer, I believe, because you have a potential to really bring this field out to the world a little bit more, and not to put you in a situation where you're like in a tough spot, but like it's just a very like cool place to be, I guess, because you started just making videos for animal control, which now you kind of just went out there and beyond and out to the world on YouTube. But I know I'm going out of a hand with this interview. I get really excited when I talk about your YouTube channel because, again, I get fascinated with numbers.
I'm glad anybody's excited about my YouTube channel. So you're good.
So talking about you, man. So besides doing animal control, besides doing YouTube, what are some of your hobbies?
I'm kind of like Ocho in the way that I like to go out there and fish. I like to hunt. A lot of people think that's ironic given the line of work I'm in. But it's kind of a Midwest thing. In Michigan, hunting's huge. So I hunt a lot. I fish a lot. And then kind of sticking back to like the YouTube thing, YouTube is my hobby. You know, a lot of people always say that you need to work to live. I'm kind of the opposite. I live to work. And, you know, people can disagree with that all they want. Go, oh, you're going to get burned out, this or that. It's what I am. I live to work. I live for my job. I love what I do. And so my free time and my hobbies kind of take that up also, whether it's through my social media stuff, my YouTube channels, making videos. I enjoy that. If anything, making my YouTube videos and interacting with my subscribers or my fans, you know, that's my release from the stresses of the job. I can turn it into a positive, and that's what I do. So,
and you recently got it during this whole process. You got into photography as well, right?
Yeah, recently got into photography. I've always appreciated it as an art, but through building my channel and my platform, I ended up getting some better, you know, video recording equipment, which also led to me getting what I would consider like my first like legit camera. And I've been really into the photography side of it, and really nothing to do with my platform. That's just kind of a personal thing that I like to do, whether it's taking pictures of my family, you know, urban street photography, landscape photography, whatever. Yeah, that's been huge for me. And if you follow my Instagram, you can see some of the pictures I've been taking. They're not always animal control related, but they're cool. I think they are.
I like your photography, man. It looks pretty good, and your YouTube videos are starting to stand out too, due to your photography and your knowledge with the camera now. But
thank you.
One of the other things I wanted to talk about, you started out making t-shirts, and then you started a hashtag called ACL Strong, which ended up being a pretty great movement because you started bringing out the wristbands, and then you started making your shirts. What caused you to make that hashtag? What made you think, like, you know what, ACL Strong, we're going to make this movement, and we're going to see how far we can take this? What made you think about that?
The whole ACL Strong movement, and we're going to like kind of get deep here for a little bit, or at least a little bit darker.
That's what we're here for.
That when that whole thing started, I was kind of in like one of those fuck this place mentalities when it came to the job itself, not my department, but just the job in general. And I said it in one of my videos that your whole career is going to be a roller coaster. You're going to go from being on top of the world to fuck this place. And it's up and down through your entire career. And at that time, I was in one of those fuck this place times. And I know, because I've been doing this long enough, that I'll get out of that. But I had to remind myself, I'm like, no, I'm strong. I've got this. Other officers, we are strong. We can fight through the adversity. We can fight through the BS. And I think I ended up telling myself, I'm like, I'm strong. I've got this. I'm an ACO. I'm strong. And then it clicked in my head. I'm like, ACO strong. And, you know, we've talked about it here before on this show that whatever you're going through as an officer, someone else is going through it too. You might not want to talk about it. They might not want to talk about it, but you're not alone in whatever you're feeling, good, bad, or otherwise. So that's really what started it. And it took off on its own. It really did. I didn't think it was going to be a big thing. I didn't think it was going to be on wristbands. I didn't think it was going to be on shirts. It was just something for someone to click a hashtag on. But it's taken off. And that's really where it started. It started from a negative place, and it turned into a positive thing.
That's great. It's always a great thing when you can turn like your weakness or something negative into a positive, and it becomes just a bigger thing, you know? Right. So you speak very strongly about your beliefs and what you think that animal control should be at. Like, for example, where you work seems to be like a very law enforcement department. And I don't really want to talk too much about your department because I don't want to get you in trouble. But I mean, you guys seem to be very equipped with almost like police officers, because I've seen some of your vehicles. You say you have the red and blue lights. Some ACOs don't really have a department like that. For example, I drive a truck with yellow lights. So does that really bring, like, based on your department, did that really bring your outlook of how animal control should be? Or like we should be like carrying a vest and actually wearing a vest and carrying a gun on our waist? Or that's just your belief, or that's something that, you know, you think if you're wearing a vest, you should have a gun? What really makes you think like that? Like,
I think every single time in the animal control community, when you hear, you know, the name like Alvis Carrington or Roy Markham, and I'm not going to list them all, but any officer that's been killed doing this job, you know, you have to ask those questions. And a lot of times, like, hell, not that long ago, we were interviewing the president of NACA, and I questioned him on it. We have to ask these tough questions and we have to confront these issues. My department does a lot of things right. There's a lot of things that every department across the country can do better and improve on. Do I think every officer in the country should be armed? Absolutely. If other people disagree with me, that's fine, but I'll argue that till I'm blue in the face. If you go knock on a door and you ever have that feeling, shit, I might get shot on this call, you should have a sidearm. For all those departments out there, and this is a lot of them, if you wear a vest but you don't have a sidearm, that's the biggest example of hypocrisy I've ever seen. And I'll say that a million times over. I don't care. If you
seen.
Yeah. Absolutely. If you're wearing a vest, especially if it's department issued, if your department gives you a vest, they're admitting to you that you're going to go into a dangerous situation where the likelihood of you getting shot is higher than that of the average person. Why are they giving you nothing to protect yourself with? That is hypocrisy. And I have an issue with that.
You more, man. Could not agree with you more.
Yeah,
Thanks for saying that.
Absolutely. And I'll say it a million times over. You guys heard me. I said it to the president of NACA. I don't care if there's directors out there that want to argue or debate that with me. I'll have that debate. It's something that I'm incredibly passionate about. Last week, we were talking with Daniel about how, I guess, motivated he is and how passionate he is about community outreach, which I am too. But we all kind of have like our little niche that we focus in on.
Yeah.
Mine's always been officer safety. I don't know why. I've been in these dangerous situations myself. I've had those calls where I go, fuck, someone might be calling my wife later today saying that I'm not coming home. And if I can prevent that from happening, why would we not do that?
That's what my question was going for, because you're very passionate about that, and yours is like you said, public safety or officer safety. So you definitely will argue your way into that and debate it just to change that. And I think your goal for this field is to actually make that a reality. Just kind of like, you're really doing a good job pushing that. So do you guys have any questions for Officer Paw Patrol? Anything that you guys want to get personal with?
I have one before we wrap it up. I noticed that you have a very soft spot for birds. What's that all about?
Yeah, a lot of people ask me about that, and I don't know. I don't know where it came from. I do, like, a lot of people, and people comment to me all the time, like, you come across like with this like big, like bad tough guy persona, which one is funny because I'm like 5'7" and I weigh 165 pounds. I'm not a big, bad tough guy, but like a lot of people, they turn and melt and like turn in this puddle of goo for, little kittens or puppies. Mine's been birds. I don't know why. I connect with birds on a different level than, how other people connect with cats or dogs or whatever your thing is. For the people out there that have birds, I think they understand. I think there is that relationship that you can build with a bird that you can't build with a cat or a dog. It's different. I know that's like a BS answer, and I really didn't answer your question, but it is. It's just one of those things that I've always had a passion for birds. I've always had birds for the most part, and I'll continue to always have birds. Like when you get a dog, it's 10 to 15 year commitment. When depending on the type of bird you get, that's a lifelong commitment.
Right.
The two birds I have right now, they might outlive me, and that's just the way it is.
So can you let people know, obviously, I mean, you got a following, but just where people can reach out to you, man, whether you have an email that you probably respond more to, your YouTube channel, your Instagram, Facebook, where can people get a hold of you, and what's the best way to reach you?
Yeah, best way to reach me is going to be, through Instagram, Facebook, or email. Obviously on YouTube, I'm Officer Paw Patrol is the name of my channel. Instagram and Facebook, it's at Officer Paw Patrol. You can DM me or private message me on there. And then my email is officerpawpatrol@yahoo.com. The one thing I do stress to everybody is that I try to respond as quick as I can. I promise I will respond to everybody, but there's just certain times where I get inundated with messages. So if I don't respond to you in a week or so, don't think I'm blowing you off or anything like that. I will get to you. It just depends on how quick that happens. But always reach out to me. I'll always get back to you.
My man, OPP. There you guys have it. Officer Paw Patrol, OPP, and my buddy Kyle. So there it is. Thank you for letting me interview, bro. Like, I like that everybody got to be interviewed and got to know you guys a little better. I feel bad for Daniel because I was trying on my microphone, but we can redo that one and we can make a better one. We can go live on FaceTime.
Well, and I mean, there's tons of stuff that we have to share about ourselves. So it's not like after we go through this first round, we can't do another interview or just adding some things throughout the show where we can share some more information with you guys about us. So
I'm an open book, man. I'll talk about anything personal. I don't care.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, thanks for that, Joe and Kyle.
Hey, it's Officer Hildy here, and I wanted to tell you about Anchor FM. We use Anchor for the Humane Roundup podcast for a few reasons. Let me explain. Anchor is free. They've got tons of tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your computer or smartphone. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard places like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. Also, everything you need to make a podcast is here in one place. So download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. And that's ANCHOR.FM.
You're listening to the Humane Roundup podcast.
And now we're going to switch gears and start talking to her screen name here on our server is Officer Eddie. She goes by Officer Sorensen or just Eddie. Again, thank you for being here with us today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So, a quick little thing about Officer Eddie. She works for the City of Long Beach Animal Care Services, and she has been there for almost 13 years and has done a few different things there. What are some of those things you've been doing at Long Beach, Officer Eddie?
Well, I started off in dispatch, and then I became a part-time officer and for several years, and then I became a full-time ACO. I work in investigations, mainly animal cruelty, but I also do a lot of inspections at pet shops, grooming salons, things like that. I do the transfer permits for anyone that's interested in rescues and stuff like that, or breeding, even though we don't really allow it. And then I also do barking complaints. And lately, for the last couple months, I've been working in the kennels. And that's just because we're short, but
that is not.
I actually like it. I've been, you know what? I like
Shut
it
up! No, you don't.
No, I do. I've been learning. I've been kind of implementing a few different things. That some of our we have a lot of non-careers right now, a lot of part-time kennel attendants, and so I've been kind of teaching them a little bit of my knowledge as far as handling aggressive animals, when vaccinating and things like that. So it's been fun, and it's given me more hands-on with the animals, which I don't normally get because a lot of the times I'm doing investigations. So.
And like you said before we started recording, it gives you time to listen to the Humane Roundup podcast. So thank you.
It does.
and catch up on all that departmental gossip and all that good stuff.
Yeah, for sure. And I heard you say something that I hadn't heard before. You said non-career kennel technician. Like, what does that mean?
It just means part-time. They're only allowed to work 27 hours a week, I believe. It's 27 or every 2 weeks. I'm not sure, but they're part-time kennel attendants. So we lost our 2 full-time attendants, and they're in the process of hopefully getting hired soon. But right now, I think we're down 4 people. So they have to kind of schedule some of the officers in there cleaning kennels, and I've been scheduled for like the last 2 months or so.
Got it. Okay. And I did a little research on your organization, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you guys provide animal control services to the city of Long Beach as well as about 4 other cities?
Yes. So Signal Hill, Los Alamitos, Cerritos, and Seal Beach.
Got it. So I'm sure that's in the maybe 600,000 people range, right? Those are all significantly.
Cerritos.
Yeah. Cerritos, I think it's the larger city, but it doesn't have as many residents as Los Al, I believe. I spend more of my time in Long Beach. Cerritos has its own dedicated officer.
It sounds like you guys are pretty busy. Long Beach itself is a decent sized city, but then to add more cities on top of that, it just, I'm sure, gets insane. And then I also noticed too that you guys have a pretty awesome partnership with SPCA LA.
Yes, so the SPCA LA provides a lot of the adoptions. They went into partnership, I believe, in 2009 or something. They built the shelter on our land, basically, and so they kind of share space with us. They do a lot of adoptions, like humane education and other things that are related to their organization. And then we do the animal control services, but we also provide adoptions as well.
So yeah, you guys sound like you're pretty busy. You have a lot going on between Long Beach itself, all the other cities, and then I'm sure getting those transfers done between, or no, you said SPCA LA built the shelter there on your campus, and I call it a campus because I did see that your shelter campus area is 6 acres, which is a decent size.
You know, it sounds like a decent size, but when we have all of our animals and no kennel space, it's not as big as it seems.
And are you guys doing any humane education stuff?
Yeah, so the SPCA has most of the humane education things going on. We do have like a education center is what we call it. It's just like a big old common room area where we hold a lot of classes, things like that. The main thing that I do is the Explorer Academy, which is sort of in the humane education realm. And then some of our officers go out and do career days and things like that. And then we also have our pet literacy program, where kids can come and read to the animals, and sometimes we'll give them little short tours and kind of talk a little humane education things.
You're a natural at this. You did a good little segue for me. The real reason that we're here is to talk about the Explorer program, and we mentioned it in our last episode that we were going to be talking to you this week. And I think it's super awesome what you guys have done there with getting this Explorer program set up, because we know the sheriff's departments and the police departments, like, they've been doing this already with people that are interested in law enforcement careers or becoming police officers, those sort of things. And from the research that I've done, I wasn't able to find any other Explorer programs that were for like the animal welfare industry. So can you talk a little bit about that program, what that's all about, what you guys are doing with that?
Okay, so the Explorer Academy is a volunteer program dedicated to youth ages 15 to 21 who are interested in a career with animals. We focus a lot of our classes on animal control and volunteering at the shelter. We hold monthly meetings, and we provide 1.5 hour long presentations on various topics. Our classes are presented in PowerPoint and hands-on, and sometimes we have off-site field trips. We have gone to various locations, other rescues. Some of our topics would include things like investigations, horse handling. We had an SPCA LA trainer come down one time and talk about humane education in general, some of the things that she does, other topics that she teaches, like that. We once had a deputy district attorney for the county of Los Angeles come down and talk to the kids about animal cruelty cases that he's handled, what he does. We've had our veterinarian staff talk about shelter medicine. They talk about what diseases animals can get while at the shelter, how they process animals at our shelter, and also the difference between private practice and shelter medicine.
That's awesome. So these kids, are they mostly kids that are interested in becoming animal control officers specifically, or are some of them just kind of wanting to get involved in the industry in general?
A lot of them are actually interested in becoming veterinarians, and they need some sort of hours to complete so that they can make it look on their college applications, or even just they need to complete hours for school and they love animals, they'll come. I've had a couple kids actually say that they want to be ACOs and that's their passion. And that's kind of the they have. But normally it's veterinarians. We get that a lot.
Hey, what'd be great for those explorers? You seen that guy on Instagram? He gives out the little Matchbox trucks.
Yeah.
You should get a hold of that guy and see if you can get some Matchbox trucks, so that way you guys can give them out to the explorers, and the explorers can give them out to for community outreach. That would be a great idea.
Who are you talking about? I've never heard of this guy.
It's it'd be cool. He looks like Jesus Christ. Like, you see him, like, oh.
He looks like Jesus.
It'd be cool too if that guy could come if he could come to LBC and hang out and talk to the kiddos too. That'd be really sweet.
That would be sweet. Dope. That would be great. You know what? You were talking last week about humane education. I think it was either last week or the week before. And I think you said you had some sort of presentation, and I was wondering if I can listen to that or watch whatever it was that you have. Because that's some of the stuff that we talk about is animal control in the media. That's what it was. Animal control in the media, and how they kind of paint us to look like the bad guys or the buffoons, the idiots, and that, that's something that I want to change in their eyes too. And that's kind of what I do.
Yeah, if you want to come to the HSUS Expo in San Antonio between May 5th and May, I think, 9th, I'll be there doing that presentation. I'd be happy to show you. No big deal. Just go fly down to Texas.
Yeah.
In all seriousness, no, if you want to chat offline, I'd be happy to share that presentation with you, and then we can chat about certain meetings behind certain things that are in it.
Yeah, that'd be great.
With your Explorer program, are you guys at all integrated with the schools, or do these kids kind of have to come seek you guys out?
Both, actually. So our liaison for scouting, she actually is pretty good about going to high schools and giving our flyers out to see if any kids are interested. We do have some teachers that know about the program that have come to our orientation meetings, who actually tell the kids every year, like, hey, there's this program that you might like, go check it out. And they'll send them over to me, and I'll usually tell them what the program's about, and if it's a good fit, then they sign up.
And so do you guys have any material or policy in place at your department that kind of outlines this program? If other departments wanted to implement this, that you would be able to provide to them?
We do have, I do have like a guidebook, and then our policy procedures on it. So that's something that I would do.
Do you do ride-alongs with the explorers?
Yeah. So now at this point, they have to be 18 in order for them to do a ride-along. So as long as they're 18, they sign their waiver form, then they can go on a ride-along only during the day. But we've had a few of the kids go on ride-alongs. It's one of their favorite things to do, actually. I've gotten a lot of positive feedback from the ride-alongs.
That's awesome.
Hey, so I'm in California with you. We're neighbors. Hill DSU, but I feel like you and I are closer. I'm in Riverside County. So how crazy is Long Beach? I mean, every city I ever worked for, like the level of aggressive dogs is a little different. So, like, for example, I used to work in a city called San Jacinto. The dogs were always aggressive. I mean, no joke. And then I started working for other cities like Temecula, Murrieta. The aggression there wasn't as aggressive. So Long Beach, I hear all this crazy stuff about Long Beach. Like, don't go to Long Beach. How crazy is Long Beach for animal control?
I've only worked for Long Beach, so I can't really say, really tell any difference. But I mean, we deal with aggressive dogs, but we're not out there chasing aggressive dogs every day.
Well, just from how rough is it? Like, from a scale from 1 to 10, like, I just want to get, like, if DPG is lying to me, or just like, nah, like, what's going on?
Some areas can get a little rough. There are some areas where we're told not to go by ourselves. I usually double up, but that's more like on the channels, LA River, homeless encampments and stuff like that. They always tell you to have an call, Long Beach PD to have them escort us down there. But for the most part, I mean, I grew up in the rougher areas in Long Beach, so I'm not the one that's, going to say that they're really, really
mess
tough.
with. I thought you would be like, I'm not the one to mess with.
Yeah.
I grew up in the hood.
I did. I grew up in the hood. So areas that might be scary to some people, I'm not scared of them. So
you know what? You and I can relate. I grew up in the hood too. What's up? A lot of that really comes in handy when you're working in this field, like just that common sense, So heck yeah.
Yes, of course. And then you always know, you go to the neighborhood, you always go and talk to the kids while they're outside, you ask them questions because the parents are not going to say, what's going on, but the kids will tell you everything right away as you're walking up to the door.
And that's when you use the little Matchbox trucks. I'm telling you, get a hold of that guy. He looks like Jesus. He has these Matchbox trucks. Hey, kids, what's up? Want some trucks? Blah, blah, blah. So what's going on in the hood? Skirt.
I actually my kids have a Matchbox truck, and then I have one at my desk that's still boxed up.
So,
but, yeah.
I wish I could talk more freely about it, but big things coming 2020, baby.
That's why I said this guy that looks like Jesus Christ on social media. I haven't said who, but I'm just putting it out there.
Big things coming 2020, baby.
What the
So I do want to say a couple things for officers that are out there that might be interested in getting this started, is that they can reach out to their local scouting organization. They used to be called Boy Scouts. Now they're called Scouting. But if they just reach out to them and tell them they're interested in creating an Explorer program for their animal control agency, then they're willing to help you out. They usually have an Explorer liaison that helps those kind of programs. And for the most part, most police agencies, fire departments, they have them. And so they're willing to work with any organization that wants to start one.
I like it. I like that.
Cool. Well, Long Beach is one of my favorite places to go because Carnival cruises out of Long Beach. So I love cruising. So
that's your reasoning?
That's why I love Long Beach for the Carnival cruise port.
The beach is long. Was that a very Midwest question to ask? I'm trying to not say Michigan as much because apparently that I say it too much. So
here in Michigan, the Bullet State.
Beach in Michigan though, it's
like a lake.
Considered a beach,
yeah, it's
right?
a Great Lake state.
Torch Lake is awesome.
Beach. Is that where Officer Pounds is at? We need to get Officer Pounds on the show, man.
Oh, he's funny.
He is funny. No, not that. We can get them on here too. Officer Pounds, we need to get him on. He can be on one of our calls of the day.
Oh, he's a funny guy.
Yep. Officer Pounds, if you're listening, hit us up, man.
Why do you call him Officer Pounds? Because he brings him in he gets paid by the pound?
It sounds like his last name.
No, it's his last name, man.
That's his last name.
All right.
We're destined for pornos.
We're going down a rabbit hole.
To bring you guys back again, sorry. Something else popped in my head. So what Kyle was talking about earlier, it's Kyle, right? I'm sorry.
OPP?
Yes. Okay.
OPP.
So
I'm just Kyle on the podcast.
Yeah, I listen to you guys every week, and it took me a couple weeks to figure out who voice was who when you guys were talking about each other, but I think I got it.
Who's your favorite?
I don't have a favorite.
Dang,
no, don't lie. Who's your favorite?
Try to put her on the spot.
Who's your favorite? Who's your favorite on the podcast?
Nobody.
Wow.
No, I love you all.
Wow.
Wow.
You should have just said,
I was waiting for her to be like, just John.
Right now.
Just John.
Just John.
I should have said Ocho since he's not there, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
But let's see. So what Kyle was saying earlier about not really knowing what he wanted to do when he was in college, which direction he wanted to go. That's kind of what the Explorer Academy is supposed to be for, is for these kids to really kind of have experience on what to do. Like some kids, they don't know if they want to go in the veterinary field or somewhere else. And with our program, my hopes is that they have some exposure to certain careers that they'll be like, hey, this is the route I want to take. Some kids might learn that kennel cleaning is not something that they ever want to do.
It's not something I ever want to do in my entire life.
It's kind of like, if you don't go to school, this is where you're going to be stuck doing. You want to do this job? Go to school.
One final question. There's not an easy way to say it. How do you teach them about euthanasia?
You
can't avoid it, right?
No, you can't avoid it. I try to be as real with them as I can be. I tell them what it is. That's not, usually our veterinarian tells them what that is. A lot of them know. They're 14 and to 21, so a lot of them really know what death is in general. But when we talk about overpopulation in the shelter, that's kind of where I bring in that we have to euthanize. Our stance on euthanasia right now is we have a model called Compassion Saves, and so we try to make sure that every treatable, healthy animal will get adopted, and so that's we're going in a good route, I think, for our shelter in general.
Are you guys you guys follow like socially conscious sheltering? Not not any of the no-kill BS or any of that, just socially conscious shelter. Okay.
Yes, exactly.
Gotcha.
We don't really want to say we're no-kill. I mean, every shelter has to deal with certain things, and I somebody was asking about aggressive dogs, and we do get those. So, we don't want to put an aggressive dog back out there to do some harm to someone, to a kid, to a family member or something.
As a group right now, can we maybe coin a new term? Because I love what socially conscious sheltering stands for. I think it's great. It's a mouthful.
Yes.
I think we all can admit that. What if we just called it safe sheltering? Simple, right? It's the same message. No kill versus safe sheltering. I think it's an opportunity to really focus on something that's just simple. Like, well, what is safe sheltering?
I have a better suggestion.
What do you got?
For a term, given the podcast? Humane sheltering.
Yeah, I like it.
Mic drop.
I
like it. I think that the feedback that humane societies out there.
Fuck the humane societies. We're municipal sheltered.
Yeah.
Government funded.
Yeah, let's wrap this up. So, all right. Well, thank you, Officer Eddie, for joining us today.
I love humane societies.
Thank you, Officer Eddie, for joining us today and providing us with a lot of information about the Explorer program there and just about Long Beach Animal Services in general. And where can people go online to find out more about the Explorer program? Do you guys have any social media pages, those sort of things?
Yes, we're on Facebook. We are at LBACSE. On Instagram, we are LBACS.explorers.
All of that will be in the show notes. And then on longbeach.gov, there's a animal care services page that has information about the Explorer Academy under their volunteer tab, and that link will be in the show notes as well. All right. Well, thank you, Officer Eddie, for joining us today.
Okay. Thank you, guys. It was nice talking to you guys.
Good work that you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
No worries. Bye.
Be safe.
Toodaloo.
Toodaloo.
Is that how it's in Michigan? Toodaloo.
Toodaloo. I think that's all we've got for today. As you guys know, since we already announced that we're recording this on Sunday, the 26th, found out that I am having a baby boy. So,
whoa! Congratulations. Man.
Thanks.
Daniel Hildebrandt.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, so I found that out today. That's super exciting. And then the only other thing that I wanted to mention before we go is that no one apparently wants free Coranda stuff because no one did any reviews or anything. So again, we're going to put it out there. Go to wherever you listen to podcasts and give us a rating and review. And in your review, add hashtag Coranda to have a chance to win some free stuff. So
also listeners, please don't forget to check out the Humane Humans podcast.
Yes, it's very good. And we got...
Is the Humane Humans an official sponsor of the Humane Roundup?
If you want it to be. Anyways, that's all I have.
Thanks again for listening to the Humane Roundup podcast. Don't forget to check us out on social media. Drop us a review. If you want to run a Coranda bed, you got to leave a decent review and make sure you tag them in the review. And also check us out on the Humane Humans podcast and anywhere else that you find podcasts like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, etc.
And
just, I don't think these people know what a corona bed is. I think we need to drop a video.
Maybe.
You know what? I'm going to sleep on one at the shelter. I'm going to do a video that way.
Do it. All right, guys. Adios.
Later, fellas. Have a good week.
All right, man.
Later, everybody.
Later.